Hey everybody, and welcome to a tutorial on how to make pickups in Unreal Engine. So we want to make a pickup that floats, spins, plays a sound, and updates a UI counter when the player collides with it. So first things first, we're going to take a sphere, drag that into the editor. We're going to scale it down to a more manageable size. Let's scale it down to 0.2. Slap a texture on there just for visibility. Something like a yellow one, there we are. And because it is a brush still, we just want to go into the brush settings, create a static mesh, and call it pickup underscore mesh. Create that, and then just pop down to lighting and override the light map. And so the next step is we want to take our pickup mesh and turn it into a blueprint. So we're going to click pickup mesh, I'm going to click blueprint add script, and we're going to call it pickup underscore blueprint. Save that one. There we go. So inside our pickup blueprint, a couple more things we need to do. We need to, in the mesh component, we need to come across here and make it movable. And then we need to add a collision volume. So I can add component, collision, sphere collision. We just want to scale that up just so it's visible. And there we are. We have a bounding sphere around our pickup. So now we want to move it, make it move up and down. So we're going to go into our event graph. We're going to work off of event tick. We want it updating every frame. I'm going to drag off of here and go set lock rot, set actor location and rotation. Now, for the up and down, we want to create a variable. We're going to call it up or down. We're going to make that float. And we're going to compile and save that and make its default value 0.5. Compile and save. So for up and down, we want to get world location of the static mesh compound, not the sphere, but the static mesh compound. We want to drag off of here and break that, break the vector, and throw in a make vector. We're going to take the x into the x, the y into the y, the return value into new location, and then the z we're going to take into a float plus float. Plug that one back in. And then drag our up and down, get up and down, and plug that into here. We want to slide over to this side, and after set location rotation, we want to just throw in a delay. So this is the delay between the object moving up and moving down. So we're just going to set that to 1 second as a default. Then we're going to make a branch, which is like a little switch that tells it to move up and down. So branch, and we're going to drag off of condition. We're going to go equals float, equal float. And we're going to drag up or down again. We're going to get that, set up or down, and equals 0.05. So if up or down, sorry, 0.5. So if up or down equals 0.5, then what we're doing is we're setting up or down to negative 0.05, making it change direction. I keep putting the zeros in, negative 0.5. And then upon false, so if it's anything other than 0.5, it'll change it to 0.5, which means when it checks and it's every second when it checks, when it's negative, it'll switch to positive. When it's positive, it'll switch to negative. Drag that, set up or down. And we're going to set up or down just to 0.5. So hopefully if we compile and save that, and pop back into the editor and hit play, there it is. We move up and down. So the next step, we want it to spin. We go back into our editor, And now we're going to do rotation. So the next thing we want to do is need to get world rotation from the static mesh component. And then we need to break this again. Break rot. Follow that up with a make rotator. And so which way are we going to do this? Let's plug the X and the Y in. And then we're going to go Z into float plus float. And we're going to get up or down, plug that in there, and plug that in there. And then return value into new rotation. We're going to compile and save that. Back out. Hopefully, we spin. Oh, we spin back and forth. Alright. Aha! Our issue there is what we're going to do is go back into the blueprint. Just remove up or down from the rotation. And that should be telling it to spin consistently. Yep, there we go. Fantastic. So now we have a floating spinning object. We need to start setting up what it does. So to begin with, we're going to set up a score script. So we're going to go into our blueprints and in our first person character blueprint. And so in here, we're going to create a variable. We're going to call it score. We're going to make it an integer. And we're going to set its default value to 0. Yep, very good. And we're also going to create another variable. We're going to call it score string. Make that a string. And so what we want to do is we want to set up a custom event that when the player collects a pickup, it triggers the custom event. So we're going to right click on the graph. We're going to go custom, add custom event. We're going to call it add score. So we want to take our score variable. We're going to get that. We're going to also take our score variable again. We're going to set here, drag that across. I'm going to go score into plus, so int plus int, and we're just going to be adding 1 every time this is called. I'm going to plug that back into set, and then we're going to take source score string, set score string, this is for the UI, and then score to score string. So essentially what this is doing is when the event is called, it's saying set the score to whatever the score is plus 1 and then change it to a string ready for our UI. So we're going to save and compile that as well. We're going to go back into our pickup and place in our collision program, collision script. So we're going to throw in an event on overlap. Event actor begin overlap. We're going to drag off of that. We're going to cast to first person character. Come off of that, and we're going to call add score. Plug all these bad boys in. And this is also where we're going to call a sound when it's picked up. We'll just call it 2D. And then we want to destroy the pickup. Destroy actor. Target self. Fantastic. Save, compile. Floating, spinning, and disappears. Very good. Now we have to create a widget for the UI so we can display our counter. So to achieve this, you want to right click down here. We want to go user interface, new widget blueprint. I'm going to open the new widget blueprint. Just going to grab a text box. Drag that into the bottom center of the screen. Let's just make the font size a little bigger. Whoa. And what we're going to do next to where it says text box in content, we're going to hit bind, create binding, which is going to open a new little graph. So from this create binding, what we want to do is want to break this link. And we want to call our score variable. So, off of get text, we're going to cast first person character. And then off of object, we're just going to go get player character as its reference. And we're going to plug this straight back into the return node. And then as the first person character, we should be able to get the score string and plug the score string into the return node, creating a to text string. So hypothetically, what this should be doing then is saying, hey, what's the score? Let me put it in this box on the UI. So let's compile and save that. Final step, I believe, as we go up into blueprints. We open up the level blueprint, and we just want to call the widget into the viewport. So on begin play, event begin play, we're going to create a widget. And which widget is it? It's the new widget that we just created. Drag off of this and go add to viewport. And then just plug the returning value into the target. Compile and save that. And then hopefully, this time, hooray! There's a big 1 on the screen. And so before we quickly go any further, I've just grabbed a little audio file. And we're going to go into, it's called pickup_3. So we're going to go into the pickup blueprint. And where it says play sound 2D, we just want to hit pickup_3. Everything's compiled, everything's saved. Very good. Duplicate our little pickup. And so what we should have at the end of this is lovely floating spinning collectibles. Let's play a sound and update a UI counter, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. Fantastic. Thank you very much, guys. Good luck with everything else. Catch you around.